Everyone in the galaxy thinks we humans are strange, foolish, but truth be told, they think our biggest weakness is our heart. Meet Sergeant Brody. Brody was no high-born noble of the Central Fleets. Burned skin mapped his jawline from a mortar blast on the border worlds. Dark, hollow craters sat under his eyes from 3 standard days of non-stop defensive drills. His hands always, well, they shook a little whenever he strapped on his heavy, dented chest plate. He was just a low-tier grunt at the edge of the system when the royal decree hit the base. The alien queen was furious and summoned me to her side. No guards, no backup, just me. The high-ranking alien officers at the command post back away when the royal transport arrived. Their minds were small. They only saw a death sentence. To them, the Queen's fury was a planetary storm that consumed entire species. Brody walked into the grand throne room alone. Thick gray dust from the outer trenches coated his heavy boots. His breath dragged heavy in his chest. The air inside the massive chamber bit into his lungs like shards of glass. The sharp stench of burnt sulfur and royal ozone hung thick, suffocating and heavy. On the high obsidian throne sat Queen Vextia. Her massive, insectoid body glistened with dark, iridescent armor under the dim red lights. A wet, rhythmic clicking echoed from her mandibles as she leaned forward, her sharp, segmented tail snapping against the stone floor like a whip. Her 4 eyes stared out like empty, bottomless pits. She looked at Brody's small, unarmored frame, her chest heaving with pure rage. Her words left me speechless. She didn't scream for his execution. She didn't demand his head. Instead, her voice boomed through the stone rafters, raspy and dark. Why are your people still fighting? She demanded. Your lines are broken. Your weapons are empty. Yet, my generals tell me your men smile in the trenches. Tell me why you do not bow. The hidden royal guard behind the pillars waited for Brody to collapse. They thought he would drop to his knees. They thought he would beg for his colony's life. But then, Brody did something that turned the entire royal hall dead cold. He didn't run. He didn't lower his gaze. Instead, he unclasped his cracked helmet, let it drop to the stone floor with a loud metallic clang, and stepped right up to the base of her throne. His shaking hand became, suddenly, perfectly still. He wiped a streak of dark grease from his forehead, took a ragged, burning breath, and looked her straight in her 4 dark eyes. He didn't look at her like a god. He looked at her like a frustrated commander who had finally met her match. He looked up at the towering queen and said, "Your Majesty, your empire fights a territory. Your soldiers fight because they are told to. But us, we fight because we have nowhere else to go. You can break our walls. You can burn our sky, but you can't harvest our spirit. Humans don't bow when the house is on fire. We fight for the soul. And you can't conquer a soul with a fleet." He stood his ground, his chest heaving, completely ignoring the rows of plasma spears pointed at his back. Alien logic shattered right there on the floor. The queen's mandibles went completely still. Her tail stopped thrashing against the stone. For 3,000 years, every species she summoned had brought tributes, treaties, or absolute terror. No one had ever just brought raw, unbroken defiance. No one had ever dared to explain the human heart to her face. Later, the galaxy learned that Brody's words didn't seal his doom. They stopped the war. The Queen called off the orbital bombardment that very night, realizing that trying to crush humanity was like trying to cage a solar flare. The aliens still sit in their high towers, texting, trying to find the military logic behind why Supreme Conqueror halted an invasion over a grunt speech. But truth is, humans are just built different. The night is getting late. So, what do you think? We humans really are strange, aren't we?